Good evening, viewers. The Idea Factory welcomes you to an exciting program titled Business Growth Program. You are aware that we are building up the momentum of business growth for our customers because we have realized that this is the single most pain points of most of them, even after COVID has gone away and business has come back to normal. Yet businesses are not able to grow as fast as they had anticipated, as also they wanted to make up for the lost time, but find themselves in a spot. And that perhaps is one of the biggest challenges that they are facing today. And our business growth program is aligned to discuss the pain points and possible solutions for businesses to, grow superlatively in this year of 2023. We are in early 2023, and we believe this is a good time where we can discuss growth parameters or growth indicators, which can help small businesses to grow faster than the average. Uh, I'll share a small some pointers that I have. Right. Before we have that, we also have Mr. Tuhin Mukharjee with us. As we are all aware, Mr. Mukharjee has been a part of our programs right from the early days of the Idea Factory. And today he's also honored with TEDx as a speaker in TEDx Patna. At the same time, he's also a member of Kotler Impact Program in India, and all these honors have made him more impactful in the business coaching and business consulting practice. Mr. Mukherjee, welcome you to this program.
Thanks, Mr. Majumdar. I'm deeply honored in being invited here as a speaker and to share my opinion. Thanks a lot, Mr. Majumdar.
Thank you. We continue with our discussion, and as we said that we focus on the startup and the MSME landscape because these are the businesses which are small, which are tender, which need support, and we are there to support them at various stages of their business. But at the same time, in the while 2023 has been very tepid in its growth indicators, we also would like to share some positive thoughts around the startup and MSME landscape because a lot of good things are also happening to say that business is on good recovery path. One of the major things that we have noticed is about the edtech sector. While a lot has been written about edtech having lost the plot and have lost the growth paradigm of 2021 and 2022, but yet there are companies today which are building up growth parameters based on the upskilling capabilities that they are offering to the customers. Typically, many businesses are actually, letting go of professionals because their growth is not at par with their with their expectations. And this has also helped individuals to upskill themselves on their own, or even companies are upskilling their employees to, take them to a different role or a different capability. So upskilling has seen an uptick in the recent months, and that has been doing a brisk business in spite of the fact that the lower part, the traditional part of edtech, which is the school education, has kind of stalled because they are kind of shifting to the brick and mortar phase and have not been seeing the kind of growth which they had seen during the COVID times. Companies like Jaro Education, Great Learning, Upgrad, and Eruditas are some of the companies which are doing well during this period where upskilling is becoming an important element of growth of people who are, at risk of losing their jobs or losing their profiles in the job. So that is one important positive parameter. Additionally, we can also talk about the aerospace ecosystem because we know that aerospace is a highly technical, highly engineering backbone, and that the kind of defines the economic development of the country. And in India, we know Bangalore is a very hub of aerospace, and in this space, a lot of small startups which are actually contributing to the growth of aerospace have got a lot of paradigm growth during this period. Some companies like Red Wing Aerospace, Artpack, JJG Engineering, Machining, and Pinnack Aerospace are some of the companies which have actually contributed to the engineering growth of aerospace. And during this, aero show that happens in Bangalore every 2 years, these companies get a shot in the arm to grow further. So hats off to the aerospace technology landscape of the country. In terms of electric vehicle policy, we know that there's a huge, impetus given to the electric vehicle policy, and some of the governments, like Tamil Nadu government, has introduced a special policy called electric vehicle policy, where they are, favorable terms and conditions for attracting investments. And to this effect, Ola has invested about $290 million in Tamil Nadu to invest on their electric cars and batteries plant. This is extremely good news because electric cars and batteries are actually the sunshine element at this point in time, moving away from the traditional businesses. A lot of investments are going in electric cars, and Ola is also one of them. And so this is good news for India as well. There is another thing that is happening for startups, because Tamil Nadu government has introduced a new policy. The policy is called TAN Seed, which is TN Startup Seed Fund, which has been introduced in 2021. But in the fifth edition, which is TAN Seed 5, the government has introduced the equity model, where they would get 5% equity against the money that they would be given as a grant or a loan to the startup. 3% stake will be taken in the startup. Now, this is a very exciting model because 3% equity is very nominal. It doesn't change the business paradigm at all. But equity stake in the business also takes the fear away from these startups to pay back the amount of money they have taken up as loan or whatever. So that's a great, positive step by the government to encourage startups to come forward and expand their businesses. With this small backdrop, my question to Mr. Mukherjee is, Mr. Mukherjee, if you can highlight some of the pain areas and the challenges that are being faced by the startups and the MSME ecosystem in India. Over to you.
Definitely. Definitely. So can I get the focus slide? Can you please remove this slide? Yeah. So basically that, see, in statistically, if we see that in India, only means 5 to 6% companies, means the SMEs, are becoming successful. And most of the SMEs are not getting the ray of success within 3 years of their operations, 3 years of their starting of their operations, basically. So why these things are happening? So if we actually want to analyze the pain areas of the SME or MSMEs, we find that first problem, capital. The capital requirement means capital or the funding is a big problem for the all SMEs. And that could be working capital, that could be any kind of the seed funding or any kind of the venture funding or any kind of the capital to run the business. It could be the capital to start the organization or to run smoothly the organization. Basically, there is a crunch of the capital. So that is the that is number one point. Number second point, teamwork. Most of the SMEs are not having proper team, and they do not have also the proper kind of the teamwork culture. So that's a big problem, and we have seen that no organization can become successful if they do not have a proper and successful team. Without having the without having the proper contribution from the team member, it's not possible to make a big or global kind of the organization. The SMEs are facing biggest challenge because they are not having the proper team. Number third point, the recruitment. They are not actually able to recruit the right kind of the talent, as they do not have the big brand name attached with them. They are not able to attract the right kind of the talent. We have seen the many SMEs are also attracting the talent by giving the better package or the salaries or incentives, but retaining them also is a big problem. So this is a very big problem, talent crunch. They are actually suffering, not having the proper kind of the talent with them. Fourth problem is that marketing. Marketing and the sales is a big problem, because if they are not able to market their product or the service, it's very difficult to have a proper kind of the cash flow. And we have seen that most of the SMEs are not able to market their product or service. because they do not have also the proper means funding with them either, or they have a also they do not have also the proper kind of the cash flow. So ultimately they are not able to do the market. They are not actually able to put the money for marketing or the sales activities in a effective way, and that is how that is why the things are happening. They are not able to market their product or service. And number fifth point is that they do not have the proper kind of the expertise. In many cases, we have seen that when the SMEs are starting their means SMEs or any kind of the MSMEs, they are starting their organization. They are particularly owner, business owner, or the promoter. They are coming from a particular domain, so he or she has got the domain experience, but overall managing the business and put it into a growth trajectory is a totally different issue. So they are actually lacking of that expertise to run the business in a smooth way and put it on a growth path. So that is the big problem. These are the five problems majorly we have seen where the SMEs are facing, in particularly in India. And most of the SMEs are not able to actually grow beyond 3 years because they are lacking all these kind of the opportunities, or they are not actually cope up with this kind of the problem. So that is why they are not able to grow beyond certain level. So these are the pain areas. So we advise the SMEs to actually take care of these points. If they take care of these things in a proper way, I think that the Indian SMEs has got also the means good potential to become global player. So this is my suggestion, and I think that if we means we can also contribute in a bigger way to help them to solve their problem. So Mr. Majumdar, you can take the next point.
Right, right. I think this was wonderfully portrayed by the 5 point challenging points that startups and the MSME stage, which every small business is going through. But at the same time, if you look at it positively, there is also a kind of an ambience or an atmosphere where startup and the MSMEs are being taken care of in the form of an incubation center or coaching or consulting. And we are happy to say that Idea Factory and iStrategic together, we are in a very favorable position of addressing these challenges that are faced by MSMEs. What we have done is we have formed a platform or ecosystem of people where we can try to solve the problems that are coming out for the small MSMEs. We have already in dialogue with quite a few of the small players of the small businesses and trying to work out their solutions as much as possible. As you have rightly said about funding, about people, this is kind of a a spiral where small businesses are not able to come out of this spiral to go to the next orbit, and that becomes the biggest challenge. They start well, they come out with a lot of enthusiasm, but somehow to reach the customer, to have a sustainable business model, to continually supply the products and services to the customer is not something that is happening for all small businesses. While there's a lot of heat, there's a lot of excitement, at the same time, we are also building a platform of small businesses who can interact also with each other and solve each other's problems. So our platform is much more, holistic. Not only we are a panel of consultants who are going to solve the problems, but at the same time, we are also going to handhold them, to see whether they are able to solve their problems. So we have a stake in the success of the solutions that the customer is having. At the same time, we are also building a platform where small businesses can interact with each other and help each other and stand by each other. So collectively, we are slowly becoming a quite a big group of small businesses, and they are all helping each other solve their own problems. I think the Idea Factory and iStrategic are in a very favorable position in terms of trying to solve the businesses of small businesses. And not only we are doing it in Calcutta, we are doing it in Delhi, and slowly we are getting connected to Goa, Bangalore, and Pune also. And so we kind of having building a national network. We are also in talk with some of the national international contacts also. So hopefully we will be able to go from national to international in a very short period of time. So we are quite excited about the kind of support that we can give to small businesses. So that's a small snapshot from my side. Mr. Mukherjee, my next question to you is, if you are, if you can tell us something about how are MSMEs evolving their business models, and what could be a proposed growth roadmap?
Yes, basically, if we see that in last 20 years, there is a huge change. There is a huge shift in the thinking process. There is a huge shift in also business environment. We have seen that there are a lot many unicorns are coming up in India. So there is a huge change actually thinking, because if you see the most of the big schools and the engineering institutions, uh, most of the students, or the we can say that means a chunk number of the students today want to be entrepreneur. So there is a huge shift in the thinking process and psychology. Now, business also is evolving. This SME business is also evolving because there are so many examples we can find like that. Means Nika. We can see that also Sugar Cosmetics. These are the organization, even the physics wala. They are redefining the business. They are the redefining the business, redefining basically traditional business in a different way. So that is how that business are evolving. Sugar Cosmetics actually selling this means traditional cosmetics only in a different kind of the online way. So we can see that there is a business model, new business model is coming up. We have seen that lot many edtech organization, so they are actually offering online coaching, online means kind of the teaching solutions at a fraction of the cost. If you see that in India earlier, the IS means coaching, IS or UPSC coaching used to be more than a 2 lakhs kind of the charge, but nowadays it's available at a fraction of the cost through online. So we must say that there is a new kind of the business model is evolving, and the most of the SMEs and MSMEs are actually taking charge to change their business model. That is how they are evolving, and they are evolving with the time. They are evolving with the economy, and they are also becoming major big player in this new economy. So there is a definitely there is a shift in the thinking process. There is a shift in the business model as well as the psychology of the entrepreneur. Now, the roadmap, if you want to define the roadmap generally we cannot define in a very constructive or means a particular way, because every business has got their own roadmap to grow. But we can see nowadays that lot many organizations are coming up to define their business in a new way. Like that agri tech organization or the fintech organization, they are redefining the business. Fintech is the area where there is a need for financial inclusion for the Indian consumers, and the most of the Indian consumers are not actually getting service in a proper way. So there is a huge scope of in means financial inclusion, and that is why the fintech is growing like anything. There is also agri-tech organization, because agriculture is also a backbone or means of our economy. Means agriculture shares a chunk of the portion in our GDP. So agri-tech organization are helping the farmers as well as they are connecting the farmers and the consumers in a new way. So that is how they are actually redefining the business, and business model is being evolved. So that is a kind of the roadmaps that we can see that how the things are actually happening. So if we want to analyze any kind of the business, the roadmap is very clear. Nowadays, if we want to do any kind of the business, we need to actually use the technology to reach more number of the people and properly properly offer the service to them. So that is the basic roadmap to grow for any organization. So my appeal to the all the business owners or the entrepreneur to think, to define or redefine the business in a such a way with the help of the technology that they can reach more number of the customers with means and offer the better product or the better product or the service or the solution, so that the customers are getting benefit out of that. So that is how they can grow in infinite way. So Mr. Majumdar, I would ask you to take the next point.
Right, right. I think I will just continue the discussion point that I was talking earlier. What could be the certain bullet points how businesses can grow faster vis-a-vis the traditional methods? And some of the thoughts that have been that have come to my mind can be shared out here, and we can actually look into this whole process. Right. Yeah. As you can see, these are some of the kind of bullet points that we can think of how small businesses can be smarter in the coming years. And some of the thoughts that have come to my mind is the power of the collective focus, which means that businesses cannot solve the problems in a business that are small. So it is always better to take customers together. It could be a school, it could be a village, it could be a office or whatever. So solve the problem collectively, not with one on one. That would be a may not be able to. It may take a lot of time. So always small business can actually try to go the B2B way and to solve problems on a collective way. That's better way of solving problems. You get a lot of thought processes, thoughts, counter thoughts, and that would help the solution to be foolproof over a period of time. So that is one part. Secondly, in today's world, internet is an equalizer. You cannot say it is a competitive advantage because everybody has access to it, and most of it, large part of it is free. Definitely, internet is a great equalizer for today's businesses. When technology is at the forefront of most businesses, you don't have to invest heavily on the brick and mortar business to reach out to the customer on a large scale. So that's the advantage of starting a business in today's times. Secondly, most businesses today should focus on something which can help them be a competitive advantage or a niche. You solve a niche problem which can be be a competitive advantage of you. For example, I'll tell you, today there's a lot of process coming out for medical telemedicine and all. And so many of these, telemedicine or medical health tech companies are building their own niche around their products. Not everybody is addressing every problem. Not everybody is providing a doctor on a 24 by 7 basis. Some are building on medicine, some are building on doctors, some are building on treatment, and they are trying to have their own niche and thereby strengthening the health tech sector. Health today is a huge technology sector to reach out to the customer to their home without reaching door to door service to the home process. So that's a huge area that companies are working on. We must also know the power of the small. The small doesn't mean that it is powerless. It can also be powerful. It can reach out to a small group of people in a very powerful way. The solution that can be offered could be innovative, and it can create a handful of very, very satisfied customers. So small businesses should remember they have the power to satisfy or solve the problem of a handful of customers in a very, very new way. So that is the power of a small business over a small set of people. But to scale up, of course, you have to be large enough. Also, again, when you are not so strong in your resources, be it monetary, be it people, or as you rightly said that the talent and things like that, collaboration is a wiser way of reaching out to people. Like even Idea Factory is building up its business to collaboration as of now, and till we are big enough, and maybe later on we can build our own team and things like that. But collaboration is working wonderfully for us today. We have a collaborative panel of about 20 consultants in our panel, and that is working beautifully for us, and both sides are excited that we are offering something new in terms of innovation and trying to reach out to the customer in a new different way, and especially something which will impact the customer on the small, medium and longer term. So collaboration is something that we must rely on. So small business can form a group, and as we told you, we are also helping them build their own groups, but together we can achieve a lot. And you don't feel lonely in your journey. And lastly, but generally we tell this point at the beginning only, but today we are putting it in the last moment, is you have to have innovation at the back end of it, because your product or your service is something which is new in the market, but at the same time, it cannot be one time new. It has to be new over a period of time. You cannot say that your product is new today, because 1 year down the line it will not be new. So you have to build up your innovation pipeline, innovation landscape on a continuous basis, because your competition will catch up and will offer the same services, and they may even offer better services from you to 1 year down the line and 2 years down the line. But remember, if you are in the game, you have to build this innovation concept further and offer better and better services to the customer. And it's not that difficult, because you do your own thinking process, validate it with the customer, validate it with your stakeholders, and have a ideation or an idea bank mechanism, and continually bring out new services, new products, new business models, and better unit economics. I think everybody is talking about better unit economics. That means per unit profitability is very important. So if you do not have per unit profitability, you must build around it, so that when you scale up, you get the advantage of economies of scale. Most businesses who are in the rush to raise funds have not focused on per unit economics, and that is why today they are in a very bad shape. Even after raising so much of money, even if they are 500 crore company, they are not profitable. And today the focus is more on being profitable and not on the revenue part of it. Until and unless you're profitable, your revenue again, if you're loss making, then everybody is pointing fingers at you. And these are some of the thoughts that we have, and we are discussing in detail more when we are talking specifically one on one with our customers, and that we are doing diligently, which may not be visible in these videos, but we are definitely in conversation with a lot of customers and solving their problems in our own way. My next question to Mr. Mukherjee. Mr. Mukherjee, if you can share some thoughts around what could be the emerging business growth opportunities in line of the discussions today.
Yes. So it's better that if you get the focus light, yeah. So basically, thing is that I think that every business has got potential to become emerging business, or the sunshine or the star business. So every business has got this kind of the potential. We actually term in a different way. We say that emerging means emerging business ideas or emerging sector. But I think that every sector or every business has got this kind of the potential to become an emerging star. Now, also we can discuss or means to name a few some areas like fintech, agri-tech, tech organizations, and some sustainable product or service means the organization which offers some sustainable product or the service, and also the solar organizations means solar means organization which are actually providing the solution means through their solar energy. So these are the organization we can say these are the emerging sectors or the emerging areas, because in recent time we have seen that there is a huge demand of the product of the service from this kind of the organization, and they are doing exceedingly well. But still I don't go with traditional kind of the concept, or the I don't go with, means I don't agree with that traditional kind of the thinking pattern that actually a term that emerging business. I think that every business can redefine their business model. Every business has got the power to change the trend, and every business has got power to term themselves as an emerging star. So every business can do exceedingly well if they take care of their areas means, and also definitely they can offer the solutions means most feasible solution to their clients. But these are the sectors where we have seen that in recent times huge growth. There's a demand in the market, so that is why it take fintech, agri-tech, sustainable products, solar energy, they're doing really well. And I would think that these are the organization that are going to make much more means they are going to be much more successful, and they are going to make big stories in coming days as well. But nevertheless, I would like to encourage all the business owners and all the entrepreneurs to take the initiatives and to redefine their business and business model to transform the economy. And that is how that we think that we can transform our country, and we can every means we can also become the global organization, or the every SME can have the potential to become the global organization. So this is my thought. So thanks a lot, Mr. Majumdar, for inviting me and allow me to share my thought here. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for your time and knowledge. And, we promise to come back with better programs very soon. And, we keep you informed about what programs we come up. And normally we do come with one or two exciting programs every month. So stay tuned to our LinkedIn profile to have more updates about what we are coming up in the next few weeks. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Mr. Mukherjee, once again for raising this program.